I recently looked at my analytics and realized that in the entire year of 2024, I only managed to publish 6 videos. And even though the end of that year was marked by a month-long unplanned hiatus, if you average things out, that means every video took 2 entire months to produce. That's not good. I need to change that. And so I'm considering starting a new series of way shorter, much lower effort, almost second channel style videos to go in between the big project videos, just so you guys get to see what I'm up to a little more often. And what a better time is there to get started than right away? So consider this a pilot episode of Chronic Chronicles, but just to see how you guys like the format. So yeah, let's keep things as casual as possible and not get hung up on the little details. Perfectionism is a real problem for me. It causes me much pain and I usually can't get out of its clasp. Anyway, that being said, the goal for today is to get my wooden 3D printer dusted off and put upstairs because, let's be honest, a 3D printer has no business being in a wood workshop. With the computer and all my other 3D printing stuff upstairs, there is 2 flights of stairs I need to run up and down every single time I want to start a print or even just grab a piece of filament or a tool or whatever. And so, as embarrassing as it is, I've been lazy and mostly just avoided using it in the first place. Which is not good because I need to get it all prepared and tuned up to start printing parts for my upcoming 3D printer, which will use parts printed on that printer. So yeah, that's the goal for this video, I guess. I've also had an issue with the extruder, which for some reason just stopped working. Last time I turned it on, it just didn't extrude anymore, and for some reason it just didn't seem to have any torque, even though the motor did turn, so we'll have to look into that as well. Yeah, there's a little bit of dust on there. Gross. Nothing immediately obvious wrong with the extruder. The idler spins freely, even though it's completely rusty at this point. Yeah, I don't know, let me take it apart and see maybe something's inside. Let's check if the motor actually turns. Because I can get the filament through, no problem. Slips rather easily. Question is whether the motor turns when I... No, it just slips through. And if I increase the tension on it, I get the motor to turn, so that's not the problem. I thought the motor was dead, the gear on is stripped, but apparently that's not the case either. Yeah, I don't know, I'll have to disassemble it to see what's wrong. Okay, there are pieces of the awfully brittle green PLA I was playing with in there. Maybe they got lodged and prevented the extruder gear from spinning, though it didn't really seem like it, pulling the black filament through just now. So yeah, I don't know, maybe these were blocking it, but it doesn't really seem like it. Let's get them out, they're not stuck, so... Yeah, not sure. Maybe it's one of these things where you just need to disassemble and reassemble everything, and then it just magically starts working again. Anyway, another thing I need to do is tighten some of the screws, because now that it's winter and the heating's on, relative humidity went way down again, so with the wood drying out and shrinking, the entire Z-axis is now essentially loose. I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but it tips back and forth pretty easily. And as luck will have it, the screws I really need to tighten the most are the very ones I cannot get to without disassembling the whole printer. Great. So the screws I need to tighten are these, and as you can see, they were completely and utterly impossible to reach without taking off the entire Z-axis, which meant taking off the Z carriage, the X-axis, taking the whole printer apart. And I really should have glued these pieces onto the rails in the first place, but I was hesitant. Well, I'm not hesitant anymore now. The printer's done, and who would have figured it's not a great 3D printer. And realistically, the only thing this printer is ever going to print is parts for a new, better 3D printer. Because, let's be honest, it was not designed to last. Taking a look at the linear rails, you see the color of these V-groove wheels? Yeah, they're totally gray from aluminum dust coming off these non-anodized aluminum rails. And this printer does not have a lot of hours on it, like 50 hours at most. The speed at which these degrade actually has me so worried that before long these rails are going to be worn down enough to become totally unusable. I actually started to grease the V-groove wheels to hopefully slow down the degradation a little bit so that I can get enough hours out of this printer to print all the parts for a better printer. Which is why I'm not exactly hesitant to glue these on permanently anymore, since this printer is simply not going to live long enough to require much of the seriously invasive maintenance I'm doing right now, and there is not exactly a lot of point doing upgrades to it either. It simply needs to be replaced entirely. Is it square? Sort of. Do I even care? No! So let's keep on trucking. Also, see how rusty that got right where the plastic tubing is? Seems kind of counterintuitive, really. Okay, it's all back together now. Let's put it upstairs and get it situated with all my other 3D printing crap. And welcome in my 3D printing space. It's not set up for filming in here, so you'll have to excuse any bad lighting. Now, those of you keeping track at home will probably already have figured out why I haven't brought my DIY printer up here before. While this wonderful old table would comfortably fit exactly 2 3D printers, one here and one here, the stupid slanted ceiling's in the way. In fact, the only orientation in which I can fit both printers on the table is this. Yeah. Meaning, since this is the last corner of the room where I've got any space left, one of the printers either has to go on the floor or on this alarmingly wobbly shelf, neither of which seems ideal. And because the DIY printer is arguably the more fragile one, seeing as I managed to break the glass bait on it once already, the 2 trees will have to give up its prime spot. You may also have noticed I got a filament dryer. It's the iBoss Ease Dry, or whatever it was called, and so far I've been pretty happy. I've also been buying way more filament than I actually need, considering I only print stuff between once a month and twice a week. So in the more than a year I've been printing, I've only gone through like 5 spools of filament. But before I get the printer installed at its new location, I need to reflash Marlin on it to enable baby stepping and linear advance. Especially the latter, as I learned basically all printers have it enabled. Something I didn't do in the beginning because I didn't even know what it was, let alone how to tune it. And because I can't be bothered to print a new camera clip, I'm just softening the old one with a lighter to squeeze it shut so it'll clamp onto thinner stuff as well. Okay, this is so much better. I haven't yet quite figured out where to put the Raspberry Pi. This cable's sort of too short as is, and I don't want to stick the Raspberry Pi to the wall either, seeing as that leaves really nasty residue, and this sure won't be a super permanent setup either, given I'm building a new printer rather soon. Anyway, let's try and see if it works. I really need to get this video wrapped up, seeing as it has to go live tomorrow, and I'm trying to stick to a schedule here. Okay, Octoprint seems to be running fine. The camera perspective still needs some work, obviously, but let's try and get it heated up, at least the nozzle. Let's get that to 210. And it is doing something. Let's check if the movements work. Which they do. And having it right across the room is very convenient. I can just get print started on the computer here. This is so much better than before. The lead screws sound a bit crunchy, not gonna lie. All that wood dust is sure gonna do no good. And linear advance seems to be indeed activated. At least it's showing up now, which it didn't before if I remember correctly. So I'll play around with that later. For now, let's get a print set up. Okay, it does seem the nozzle is clogged. Maybe that was the problem all along and not the extruder. Yeah, this is not good. I'll need to disassemble it. And there you have it, the last remnants of this completely unusable brittle green PLA. I sure should not have played around with it anymore. Fortunately, I have since done the right thing and chucked the whole spool in the trash, so it can't happen anymore, but no wonder no filament was coming through that. It was completely blocking the heat break. So yeah, that should be it fixed. Now I just need to reassemble it. And there we are. Guess what? Lesson learned. Never, ever, under any circumstances, bother with brittle filament. Just close your eyes, throw it in the bin, and never look back. It's for your own good. Turns out printers print better with a non-clogged nozzle. And wouldn't you know it, it prints as well as ever. Stringing is still a huge problem, obviously, but I now know this is partially due to the filament. The filament is just very prone to stringing, so it's not entirely the printer's fault. And this is supposed to be something I can actually use, something I don't need to throw away after. It's just really painful how long everything takes with this printer. Like, this 10-minute towel hanger print, I can wait half an hour for it now. And there we go. All things considered, not too bad. I mean, in a way it's kind of surprising how quote-unquote reliable this printer has become after I made everything on it spring-loaded. Like, it went from 70, almost 80% relative humidity during summer last year, all the way down to 50 in winter. Now 60 up here in this room, all without the rails becoming slack or some alignment having to be readjusted. For a wooden printer, it's just kind of weird. You would expect almost everything to be out of whack after how I took it apart earlier. So anyway, I guess we've got one mystery solved now. Turns out it was a blocked hot end, not the extruder. What I'm hoping will happen with the printer up here now is that it'll be legitimately more straightforward to use than even the Two Trees one, thanks to Octoprint making SD cards for shuttling G-code between computer and printer a thing of the past. Because when it comes to 3D printing, one thing I've learned about myself is that I'm freaking lazy. I just want to use my printer to print something, not spend ages tinkering and tuning it. So by making the DIY printer the path of lesser resistance due to it being even more convenient to set up, I'll hopefully be incentivized to actually give it the love it deserves instead of just reaching for the significantly better and faster off-the-shelf printer every time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this extraordinarily non-educational video for a change. Let me know what you think about this new format in the comments, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.